I mean, not run around naked. Guys, this is going to be number 25.
That's good.
Getting there.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Welcome back again, everybody. This is FlexCast number 25.
We made it.
We made it.
I thought it was 16.
No. 25. FlexCast 25. And, of course, as always, we have Harry. Harrison.
Harold.
No one calls you Harold. Do they?
No, they don't.
And then
Probably like
Steve,
Harrison Ford.
Henri.
the
my French
motherfucking
name.
gamer. See the gamer.
The gamer.
Henri.
By the way, it's Steve, not Steven. Like, that's not his given name is Steve.
Every
Steven.
time you say that, I would keep thinking about Matt. So Matt had the was doing this thing, and
Matt Kim?
Yeah. So he didn't know my last name or anything like that. So he was like, "Damn, what do I put as his last name? I know his first name is Steve, but I put the gamer."
Yeah, that's why because we were at the restaurant, we said Steve the gamer. Because when you say it like that, it just sounds like you have a French last name.
That's crazy.
Anyway, we should learn from Harrison better branding that way, just first and last name.
Right.
That's it.
Pretty simple.
Except for then people find where you live.
Yeah. Straight up.
I guess.
Damn.
But there's people who still have branded themselves with a name, and then people find out your name's going to be out there. Because once you get any sort of recognition, people just look up.
Oh, trust me, they found me so many times.
Then you have to buy property, which are public record, which is
under an
searchable,
alias.
Under an alias, or which you can't do legally, that you have to do under someone else or an LLC.
That's what H3H3 did, and then there's this guy who he writes for Vice, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it was that. And he publishes when any big like YouTuber or whatever buys a house and their address and how much they paid.
Right, because they use their name.
No, they H3H3 on their second house, because of their last house got swatted multiple times.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they did it
really?
under an alias, and they still the day that they moved, they closed on the house. He posted an article with how much they paid, where it is, and what it is.
Wow.
That's kind of a dick move.
And they're like, what the fuck? And they're like, he did a podcast and he was like, I'm going to get your fucking address and put it on my podcast. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Don't stoop to that level.
Yeah.
But this is the second time that guy did it to them. And he does it to everybody.
I mean, I'm not like, I have to, maintain privacy at all costs, but I'm also not like trying to be like, hey,
But if you got swatted, you probably, like if the police came into your house, guns ablazing, ready to shoot you because they got a call that, you're doing some crazy thing that somebody made up.
Mm-hmm.
And your whole family is at risk because some idiot thought it would be funny.
No, that would definitely.
The guy that did it to them, ended up getting arrested, and he had blasted their
It's
face
illegal.
online. But a lot of people don't get arrested. Remember that guy that they were playing Call of Duty, and he like swatted the guy, and the police ended up killing him.
No.
Yeah, there's this guy. They were like
crazy.
arguing online, and he's like, "Come to my house, I'll beat your ass." And then he gave him his address, and then he sent it to. They swatted him. And
are you worried in the future, like when y'all have kids, of their internet safety?
I don't know what the world's gonna be like when I have kids. As far as
imagine this right now, like if you had kids right now.
What do you mean as far as internet safety?
Like what would you be doing? Like, would you not allow them on the internet? Would you? I mean, which is hard to do.
I mean, they gotta see it, but
what would you like? Not let them have an Instagram account or something like that?
With limitation.
I mean,
like what? What were those limitations?
Like Sophie wants to delete her Instagram once we have a kid. She wants to just go off the grid.
What does that do with her Instagram though? I don't understand that.
But because she doesn't want to be posting the kid and what she's doing with.
You could just choose not to.
I know, but it's like just kind of eliminating that aspect.
On anything.
But some people, it's like eliminating that aspect out of it for.
What, her temptation of it?
Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think she wants to kind of have our kid like on the internet.
There's also like
that.
really even famous people, celebrities who don't really have their kid out
anywhere. Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that's like, all right, if you're eliminating for yourself, not having the urge or the time, then it's different. That's totally different. But like,
she said she wants to have a private one for just friends and family.
But that's not. But I'm talking about your kids specifically. Like, if you had kids, when and how would you let them access the internet?
When I was a kid, it was I could get a Facebook when I was in high school.
But remember that
I know that's what I'm going to compare. Excuse me, Facebook in high school, which would not. There's no way you're keeping social media away from a kid till high school now.
I agree.
No, you.
But I got my first phone when I was in 5th grade.
How old are you in 5th grade? I don't know.
11, 10.
Okay.
10, 11 years old.
'Cause most of the legal stuff is about 13.
Because
where you can participate in things.
the thing was I played sports and I needed a phone to contact my parents when like practice was over or something like that, because they would drop me off. So like that.
Or you could use a payphone.
That was the. There was no payphones back in
When I was in
15
high
years
school,
ago?
when I was in school, when middle school and stuff, I'd have to use the payphone.
But yeah, I had to call my parents because of that, and I could only have, or I only had 4 contacts: mom, dad, sister, and like my grandma.
But you were allowed more than 4 contacts, or you just had?
I was allowed, but I didn't have anybody who had phone. Send it.
Just
It was coming my way, but now
before it was fine, but now the winds have shifted.
I don't know. It's tough to say, because
So you don't know, basically.
social
'cause it's
media
hard to
does a
say.
lot
Yeah,
of good, but I
agree.
also think it's causing a lot of issues with kids and anxiety and depression and whatnot. I think
I agree. However, I don't think it's causing it. It just exacerbates
Aids it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's always there. It's always been there. Like the evil isn't social media. It's people.
Well,
And then
I
giving
think,
them an ability.
I think
to
it is in
interact.
social media too, though, with the algorithms and whatnot. And like, luckily, I feel like we don't care.
Boil it down to the basics, though. Like, what in the algorithm? It's based on what people want to see. It's not the algorithm. It's what people want to see.
But what's getting likes, interactions, and
Based on what do you think the algorithm's based on? It's based on what people want to see.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's what I'm saying is like, and a lot of people complain about it, it's like how people, their life looks amazing on Instagram, like there's no problems.
It has nothing to do with the algorithm. That's what people post.
No, but I know, but that stuff gets pushed instead of like, if somebody's posting about what's going on with them, that like people don't go to watch somebody who's
Because people don't necessarily want to see that all the time. I think it's different. I don't think it decides. I think it is based. I mean, the whole algorithms, all these things are based on what people want to see. The algorithm didn't occur first, and then it started pushing stuff, and then people wanted to see that because the algorithm pushed it. The algorithm is based on what people want to look at, spend more time looking at, and give a shit about.
Well, my whole point of it was that the people find the value in themselves based off of social media.
But that's a problem with people, not social media.
No, I know, and so I'm saying, luckily, we're not people who do that. But
most
you
people
want,
are.
like,
I feel
if
like, though.
you don't want your kid to have to experience that, if that that happens.
Or do you so that's part of that's the crux of the argument. Can you prevent them from experiencing that? It's more like, can you arm them or teach them so that they don't internalize it that way? And that's hard as a child, because you're gonna you're most likely going to experience a lot of that in general. So how do you arm the child, and then also to a certain degree protect them? So I think there's somewhere in the middle where you have to kind of do the best you can, but it starts with, I think, how you raise your children and mentally arm them with the tools to be able to think critically about who they are and define themselves without having social media impact them, which is basically others. Without others, they can very easily see the opinions of others, right? And that's very hard as a young person to not internalize that. We're different, and it still happens to us as adults. So as a child, like, how do you think? How solid does that child have to be like, yeah, they all say you're ugly, but it doesn't bother me? Like, that's never gonna happen with a fucking 13-year-old, right?
Well, that happened for me because Xbox Live. I think that's probably a reason why I'm a little bit better with it, because kids used to say the wildest shit in the
I
world
remember.
on Call of Duty.
I remember.
And Modern Warfare 2.
For sure.
Like, you
For
would
sure.
just
Halo, I
hear
remember that, yeah.
in Halo, you would hear the most heinous shit that if somebody said today,
Right.
they would get arrested. Like, this stupid shit. And that, when you go through that at that age, it's like, well, internet comes as whatever. I heard way worse from so-and-so. I'd say when I started social media with like my YouTube and stuff, it's starting to grow, and I'd get people commenting. At first, I'd kind of be like, respond back, but then it gets to a certain level, and it's like, nah. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's to a certain level. That's when you start to get concerned, because you can't escape all of it. It's just part of society now. But
even people who aren't big on social media get it.
that's what I mean. I don't mean, and you have to be big. I just mean in general, you can't escape it. But there's a company, Bark, that some folks who were at the Atlantic Village, where I had my companies, and I have a friend there as well. But they're doing some great stuff. But they have kind of an AI based mechanism to sense when on certain platforms, not like on consoles yet. But I think that's where it's going, where if it's getting dangerous, or if there's a kind of a sexual nature that parents can monitor, or that it alarms you, it alerts you, or giving out your information, that type of stuff, that it kind of based on behavior, based on the frequency of interaction, what you're saying, the content, it assesses the threat basically. And I think a combination of something like that, right? If Bark gets embedded into Xbox Live and Instagram, et cetera, let's just say, that a combination of that plus, I guess, raising your children a certain way or arming them. And I don't think an abstinence policy works. I don't think can't use social media until you're 16, and then all of a sudden you're well prepared for that. No, it doesn't fucking work that way. I don't think that works. So somewhere in the middle of preparing them responsibly, and then also having some, as you were saying, to that at that level, getting to a certain level where it alerts you and protecting them from that. But I don't think you can just put your head in the sand.
It still makes me nervous having a kid right now. Like the way, especially with social media and all that. Like I'm just thinking, like, let's say you get jumped or there's a fight in school. It's posted online now. It's not just at school anymore.
Yeah, you get beat up in school, your school knows, and you think it's the end of the world because the school knows. But then imagine half the world knows.
Imagine if it went viral. Yeah, so
I mean, that's not that different. The only difference between now and past is that it can be seen by others. But really, how does that affect you?
Oh, some people can't handle that. Not me, but
what's the difference between 100 people or 50 people or 5,000 people?
Oh, some people can't handle that.
I'm saying the people who can't handle it. Mm-hmm. What is the difference? If they can't handle it because 50 people or 5 people or 5,000 people, what is the difference to them? If they can't handle it with 50, 5,000 or 5 million.
Because it's people they know and they're close, and then it goes out there.
That's the point I'm making. It doesn't have to take 10,000. It have to go viral for it to affect them. If everyone they know sees something like that's somehow damaging to them, it goes back to what I was saying.
Like when a nude got leaked in high school.
It has nothing to do with the internet and the volume, right? If it goes viral versus everyone in school. I mean, when I was a kid and you got beat up in school, everyone knew about it because they were there. Not everyone online. Not like everyone who your cousin in fucking Missouri knew, but everyone in the school knew. So everyone, your parents and the teachers and everyone knew. So what then? Like, it's the same thing. The difference, I think, is how people react to it, and then most parents, not effectively preparing a child to be able to handle that.
Gotcha.
Because it's the same exact thing. In the 50s, when a kid got beat up, everybody knew that they knew, right? Everyone that they knew in their circles knew, right? Would we disagree with that? No. Okay. So now the only difference is strangers then are going to know.
Yeah, but people care about strangers' opinions.
That's my point. And you say if a person that can't handle it and they care about strangers' opinions, how do you protect against that? And my thought process here, I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm saying this is how I think about it, is to a certain point you have to protect them from the strangers, but that's at a certain level, but you can't, all of it. And then at a certain point you have to prepare a child for that. You have to teach them and arm them. And I don't think most parents, are really saying, hey, son, daughter, let's sit down and talk about what social media does and how it makes you feel and who you are and what defines you, what doesn't, your identity.
You got to think about those kids that are raising kids nowadays.
The kids raising kids?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Well, what I'm getting to there is that most people aren't preparing them.
Yeah.
Because they're not prepared either.
Yeah.
Well, I said something and it'll get picked up, so I want to go back on it so it doesn't sound like weird me putting it in, but it's similar to like when a girls would send a nude in high school and it would get like somebody would send it to everybody and they would think it's the end of the world because everybody saw their nude photos, and imagine they tweeted it and it got, because that happened. It's probably nowadays, like that kind of stuff. So
right, which is now technically illegal if you're a minor, but there are some policies against that the person posting it. Yeah. But it starts with, guess what would never happen
if you didn't send it
in the first place. Yeah. So if you talk to your child about that, it's an uncomfortable conversation. Same thing like the sex conversation when you're a kid. To me it's the same concept. It's the exact same concept. Like, oh, here's the solution: don't have sex. Right, because that works. But it's about how you teach and prepare your children, I think. Yeah. I'm not saying there's a perfect way, but I think there are ways that you can help prepare a child that gets you further along to prepare them for those types of things. So if you were talking to your son or daughter, I was like, hey, look, I know you might want to, but sending news is a really bad idea, and here's why. They might think differently about it if you didn't have the conversation. I mean, I would virtually guarantee you,
Do you ever get those?
All the time.
I don't
Steve's
get
getting
those.
a political spam call right now.
I don't get those because I changed my number.
My number's been the same for like
my
15 years,
goodness.
so I get them.
Yeah, my spam calls went down 95%.
I need
after
to
got a
change my number.
Well, of course.
But I don't put my number into anything anymore.
Hmm.
I put it like when you sign up on PayPal,
For
you
stuff,
sign up
yeah.
for Gmail.
Well, in the future, you'll be able to use a different number for that.
I will
Oh.
soon come.
Plug it in.
We're pretty much. We by the way, we've transitioned to 2 different topics now for folks watching and listening. But let's cap that off real quick. So what I'm saying is that I think if you can prepare or at least talk to your children about it, right? First is talking about it, and no one really wants to do, but also making the effort to understand it first before you just say, just don't do this and whatever. Understanding what is practical, what's not, and also preparing your child so that their mindset, who they are, their identity, is a little more resistant to being so affected. Look, they're teenagers. Like, it's hard. Like you were saying, it's the end of the world when your friends and family think one thing. Like, it's not. Obviously, we all agree it's not the end of the world. But to prepare from that, and I can use myself as an example. I was susceptible to it, but not as much as most people I ever met, right? And what is the difference there? It's not because I was born just a certain way. Yeah, there's some parts genetically to that, yes. But it's because I felt like I was adequately prepared in thinking about it, who I am, before I let that penetrate who I actually was. Your thoughts dictating who I am, now as an adult. And like I say, I work on it all the time. And it's hard for even adults, us now. I catch myself. I'm like, oh, well, But even as a child, I think you have to be more, parents have to. I think the onus is on parents first. That's what I'm saying. The onus is on parents first to prepare your child. It's not like the technology is the evil of the world. It is just amplifying human beings, and that's what human beings are. So I think parents need to do their part.
Buck up.
Yeah. Now, it becomes difficult when parents don't know themselves. So then what?
Yeah.
Those parents who went through the social media couldn't figure it out,
or the parents right now who are still wrapped up in like their best friend or a friend of theirs in their neighbor. You didn't like my post. and they, I've seen it too.
Oh my God!
So
that's
it's like
crazy.
How then? So let's just talk about the kid there.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I have to imagine. I've seen it. So let's talk about that for a second. Like what do you think about that? Because then that parent obviously can't handle it themselves, right? So how are they equipped to then tell that parent's
to teach
child?
that, yeah.
And that is where I start to get concerned, right? Because then if that child has nothing to lean on, then it's like, okay, do we need to have, like, other than the government, because who gives a fuck about that, like an online presence to say, here is what can help you, or here's education? Like, I don't think parents are even well equipped to say, well, I may not know all the answers, but you can reach out here. Where's that? Like, who's going to teach them that?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think it's a complicated issue. I don't think there's a solution, but I think there are ways that you can help mitigate the potential issues of it, and especially for listeners here. If you're younger, I think that's a huge part of it. It does that. Yes, you could have cool shoes and you could be on the football team or do whatever and be smart. But if you're not, it doesn't mean you're worthless. Every person has inherent value. But understanding that, if you've never been told that, right, that's difficult.
I know.
You've never been taught that. And it's not just like you tell them once either. Like, you have to ingrain it into a child. You can't just tell them once.
For some reason, I mean, for me, even, this is not totally off topic, but I remember my godmother when I was in middle school, because I was living with her. And I remember when I first moved into her house, because my mom was like, all right, you're going to move into her house, she's going to take care of you, this and that. And she just came to me, gave me my clothes, all that stuff. And she was like, she just introduced me to, hey, people are going to be doing drugs. So it's really up to you whether you want to do it or not. But I'm telling you, it's bad for you. But this is what I'm telling you. But you're going to have your option, whatever you decide to do, do it. I felt like that was, I don't know. I felt like I could have handled that totally different.
I agree.
But I handled it, never did drugs in high school or anything like that, or middle school. just did what I had to do. But at the same time, it was
Elementary
like, hey,
school though.
Yeah.
huh?
Elementary school, you
Elementary
did
school,
drugs.
Yeah,
You were just saying I didn't in high school or middle school, but you didn't say elementary school.
yeah, of course not. I was not even near that.
But in
yeah.
college.
Hey, that's totally different.
But you know what? That's not, why? Why is it totally different? Because as a human being, you're a little bit. I mean, you're not perfect, right? You're definitely not there, but you're a little bit more well equipped.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. I don't know if
your
it was the friends or the people that just kind of push you to it. It's like, come on, man, you only live once, YOLO, or some.
I mean,
something like that.
I've been my roommates in college. I had plenty of drugs in front of me on a table that they're like, "Here you go," and I'm like, "I'm good."
Yeah.
So
You know why you was there for.
What do you think are the biggest determinants of that for you?
My
personally,
parents were
there you go.
strict.
There you go.
On,
Parents.
and they weren't too strict to where I would rebel because I know when you're too strict as an adult.
Yeah.
But they were like, no tolerance. But
Yeah.
if it's like, I feel like there's a certain level of when parents start sending their kids to private school and trying to shelter them from absolutely everything,
Yeah.
that it gets the kids to rebel, and
Yeah.
that's why.
And that's the head in the sand mentality, which I don't think works, or absence mentality. Like, it doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. It'll never happen. You never do it. Versus like, you will be presented with this. This is in the world, and let's talk about why you'd be tempted and why it's not good for you. That's a different thing.
Yeah. It's like I feel like they present the option, but it's like, hey, if you want to do it, go ahead. But I'm telling you, this is what such and such does. This is what, and
yeah, for me, I mean, and it starts really early. Yes, I'm not the typical parent or the typical human at all, but I mean, my children are really young. They're not even, in elementary school, and I'm teaching them things. Like, there are people out there. There are things out there. And I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't exist, but I'm going to tell you, here's what happens when you do this type of thing. Here's what happens when you don't. Right? And you're going to have to choose for yourself. So at a certain point, you have to trust your children, but also trust the job that you've done raising them.
yeah.
Now, if you also know that your child, for example, I don't know, I'm not there yet, but if your child is susceptible to those things, then maybe you take steps to help mitigate that, right? If like one child is like, well, I'm not really worried about him, but this one I'm a little worried about, then you make different choices, right?
Preventative measures.
But that's also knowing your children. Look, there isn't no clear cut way, but I think making the effort is important. But what about, because I was also different in the sense that, like, my parents were very strict, but I got around that, but I still made the choice, like you, I made the choice myself, and it's hard to say that people who are more or less settled those things, how do they make that choice themselves? If the parents are strict or not, or nothing, how do they know?
I know. I mean, I watched my brother because he was so not weak to that, but
so you had an example, basically.
Peer,
Good
peer
or bad,
pressure.
you had an example.
Peer pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, you have an example. So it's a Freudian thought, right? That, like, regardless, you're still a reflection of your parents, your upbringing. So if your parents were like terrible, then you'd be like, oh, I don't want to be like that. Or if they're terrible and you're like, I want to be like that. Like, so either way, you're a reflection in some way. So you had an example, good or bad, doesn't make a difference. You had an example to say, I want that or I don't want that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think was?
Oh no, not even my brother. I feel like my brother was weak to stuff like that, like peer pressure or somebody asking.
Right. So it's like a negative example, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
did that make you say, I don't want to be like that?
No, the example came from like my uncle. Like, it was like I watch him getting high. I watch him getting drunk all the time, beating up his wife or doing stuff like that.
So it was like a cautionary tale.
Yeah, it was like, nah, I don't want to do that.
But let's say that exists.
Mm-hmm.
How does it become cautionary for you versus someone being like, well, that's okay? And
yeah, some people, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I watch.
So what was the reason why you think you didn't?
I don't want to be that guy.
What made you not want to be that guy?
The action, what he does when he actually drinks or do any drugs or anything like that.
So you were like, I just don't want that for me.
Yeah, that
was
why. I don't know.
It's kind of a hard question, but
yeah.
Why do you think you didn't?
Yeah, I was like, because
I kind of watch. I want that.
I kind of watch him in a way where he will be a normal guy on the day that he don't drink or do any drugs. It would be the best guy ever. We're watching a movie, we go out.
So it was the difference of him being great and then not great.
And then the next second is like he's beating up on his wife. He's doing this. He's doing that. So it was like, nah, man.
Oh, you don't want that for yourself.
Yeah.
So if we were to, and this is hard. I mean, I don't know. If you go back further than that, how does a child, you or anybody else, determine that they don't want that for themselves? How do you know what's right from wrong? How do you know? It's not right from wrong because it's black and white. The gray area.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? Like, well, it's fun to do this, but then it gets out of hand. Like, where do you learn that? How did you determine that?
Yeah, no, that's the hard part.
It is hard. I'm not saying it's easy at all.
Yeah, that's the
I don't
hard
have
part
a
right
solution either. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what kids who, younger people who spend a lot of time looking at Instagram and Facebook. Or,
Yeah, and then you have
young, but Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube.
You have
They're learning from the people,
music that's favoring that too.
And music, right. You're exactly right. So music, YouTube, Instagram, like these are the biggest influences on kids now than anything else. Fucking broadcast, that's not really a factor anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, you start thinking about that. It's like, is it us who has the responsibility as people who, young people watch us on YouTube? Do we have a greater responsibility now? Now, I don't think it overrides the parents, but let's just say that the parenting guidance isn't there. Then what? Then what does the kid have?
Yeah. They was kind of turn to they influencer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then now, now that we basically agree on that on a kind of ground level concept, that's where kids are getting it. Then how do you then feel about your responsibility? Do you have a responsibility? Do you have one at all? How do you feel about that? Is the fact that a 9-year-old is going to watch your shit and get a lot of their views on life or things or themselves based on your content?
Make sure. I mean, I have confidence in what I put out, that I'm not putting out anything negative that would harm
anybody.
But do you think about that actively?
From the beginning, I didn't want to cuss. I didn't want to do anything like that, and just keep my content clean and whatnot, because that's really who you are, though. But.
Yeah,
but I mean, I cuss on here, but putting that out on, that's what I wanted to do from the beginning, and it worked. And I mean, it could have worked if I didn't do that, but.
Yeah,
so, but I feel like, Steve, you have a pretty conscious manner about you. Especially when you're streaming. Too.
So main reason why I because I remember I used to curse. I used to do like a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I think it was my auntie. My auntie always throw parties and stuff like that, and I end up sitting down, and they turn on the TV. All the kids were watching me. And I caught myself cursing. I caught myself doing a lot of stuff. I remember that's when this mod where in San Andreas you can actually have sex and stuff like that. I was showing it off. And in my head I'm like, no, do not get to that part. Oh no, oh my God,
so
I'm losing.
That's when you realized that kids were going to be watching that.
Yeah.
That you were.
Yeah.
That you realized the power of your
the
platform.
power, yeah.
But you didn't. But I feel like you didn't go through that, because when you were doing your stuff, you had a conscious decision to be like, I know that kids are going to see this, right?
And I was younger.
You were younger.
19, 20 years old when I started doing it. So, I mean.
Yeah.
So you were kind of aware because you were already in it.
Yeah. Well, because I didn't want to. I wasn't going to put out. Because people would get mad at me for not cussing. They'd be like, what the hell, dude? Why don't you cuss?
Yeah.
Oh,
I get that all the time. I get that
and
all
I'm
the
like,
time.
back then I was like, just what I didn't want to do.
So then what about, okay, let's just say this. Let's consider this. What about the YouTubers who are just being themselves, but don't realize, or
Logan Paul,
right? Which is a concern, I think, for a lot of younger people. Like, they watch a lot of Logan Paul, and he's very popular. But what if they're young people? And he's like, look, I'm going to do me. And as someone else who really does him, I get that. But at what point is it your responsibility to say, hey, kids, this is not for you. This kind of content is not for you.
YouTube had to step in.
Yeah,
they
in
did.
a way.
But you mark your stuff as not for kids.
Well, they would step in and the demonetization started and
sure.
all that.
But now, let's just say, for example, I mean, let's just say a person makes a video and they can just say it's not for kids, but kids are still going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not stupid as a
no,
child.
but they
whether
review
you
it.
use a VPN or you say, yeah, I lie, I'm 18 and I'm not 13. Like, you still get around that, right?
Well, there's that, but on the YouTube's end, if you put that it's not for kids, they review it, and then if you break that, then they change.
No, you put it for kids, they review it. If you say it's not for kids, they don't.
No, but that's after months of you posting content that falls within those guidelines, because they will take, they monitor that and see that you have 100% on your track record. If you don't have the 100% track record, then they don't trust you putting that, and they review.
But let's assume that you're perfect, and none of your stuff's for kids. Are kids watching it? You know the answer.
Yeah.
Kids are. They still are. And I'm not talking about
not for kids.
Right. You're saying your content is not for kids. All my content has always been marked not for kids, by the way. But are kids watching my content? I virtually guarantee you they are for you or me or whatever, right?
Of course.
So, at that point,
but
where does the responsibility pass?
It depends what kid is, because if it's a 4-year-old, that's different.
Well, we don't know. So all we can, if it's not for kids, then it's the 13 or 18 that they can't watch it, right? Because if you sign up for a YouTube account,
13.
Right. 13, yeah, at least 13.
But that's when you sign up for a YouTube account. So what if you're a kid and you lie and say I'm 18 so I can see all the content?
I did that.
Right. That's my point. This is my point, guys. You can't look to YouTube to be the arbiter to say like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about it because kids don't watch it. Kids are still going to watch it.
So are you just saying parents in 2020 suck?
I'm asking. Well, yeah. Well,
that's basically the point you're trying to make.
I'm not saying that they suck. I'm saying that the onus is first on the parents. Holy shit. It's right there.
Shit.
The big hawk is right there.
The hawk is in the yard.
Oh my god.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's got an animal.
Fuck.
I think it's got an animal.
Does it?
Wow. It's eating something.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
That's
holy shit.
He's right there. How big is that wingspan?
Yo, that is a huge. It's right
4
there.
feet? At least? I don't know. It's hard to tell. That thing's
That hawk
huge.
just landed. He wants something
5
here.
feet? Damn.
He wants hoss.
This hawk just came
Hoss
like
is
right
little.
near us.
Hoss looks like a
I
mouse.
think I should just go grab this camera and show everybody. Like this
my
hawk has
God.
come
That
by.
just
This is the same hawk that comes by
Get
every
him.
now and then. But damn, that
You could
that
pan
thing
and
is
get him.
huge.
if I walk over, he's gonna run away, isn't he?
Nah, he gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna take a pee break. You guys can keep talking.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to take a break. I'm gonna go see this hawk. And we're back. I tried to go grab the a shot of the hawk, but it ran away as soon as I went halfway to it.
Right?
Yeah.
So Steve, when's your car gonna be done?
My car, it's up to me now because I'm the only one working on it. So I'm waiting for one part from Texas. So I might ship it overnight and then I'll give it to Taylor to tune it. My car's basically ready. Yeah, it's just when that part get here. And if everything, like finger cross, works.
So in the future, you probably won't build cars out?
No, that was my
you're just
first and
done.
last.
You're
Yeah.
done.
I might build a house, but I'm not doing a car.
Let me just tell you how that goes.
I know. I don't even.
Let me tell you how many times I'm going to build a
Never
house
ending.
out.
What?
No more times.
For real?
I'm done, dude.
No,
done.
but I want to be in another house while I'm building a house, not the way you did it.
No. You
No?
don't understand. Nah. Like-
never-ending money pit.
You know what I'm going to do? Money pit has a negative connotation that you're just throwing good money after bad. But I just don't want to deal with it again. Like, I'm going to spend $2 or $3 million more on the next house just so that it's perfect.
I agree.
Like the way I want it to be, and the day I buy it, I have to do a damn thing. That's what I don't. What I don't want is like having to deal with it for the last like, regardless of how much money I spent, like the last 3 years. I don't have to fucking go through that.
Got you.
And every little thing, and then fixing it, and it's not right, and you have to be on top of it. It's just.
But do you think you like projects?
I love projects, but I don't want to deal with that kind of project. Is what I'm saying.
But like,
Yeah.
if you bought a house that already had a pool and a glade and a driveway, then you're gonna get bored.
No.
Yeah, real quick. I'm
No.
telling you, Hoss. I'm telling you.
I don't have to look.
I think
That's why I
got
got bored of this house. Like right now, I only decided to buy this house because I know I can make some money off of it. But other than that, I'm bored of the house, the movie theater,
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Over time.
But I have other things to occupy my time. I don't need
not
to
currently.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
telling
I do.
you.
It's just how I choose to spend it. That's the difference. Is
But
how
when
I
it's-
choose it.
When it's not COVID, you are doing a lot more things.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
But you
true.
probably did all these yard renovations because you've been home so long, and
Before COVID, I was still doing. I mean, did it for 2 years before COVID. It
yeah, but
was like a part-time job.
the things like the glade. That's one that like you could have gone without if you really like. If you were like
I mean,
not
yeah,
home
yes.
all the time. If you were
Yeah,
like
I could have gone
going
without,
out
yes.
normally and traveling like you normally do, you weren't going to be thinking about a glade.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
I'm just
so
speaking
true,
in the
though.
terms of like
Yeah.
probably
No, you're
would be me too, because
You're right.
you don't look at it every day when you're going about normal life.
But I would have just done something different, though. Let's say I had the glade. I bought a house with all this stuff. I would be like, great. I don't have to deal with this. I'd just be doing all that time I spent. I'd just be investing in something else, like a company I'm building, or two, or my YouTube channel,
Or just do it all at once.
which
Yeah.
I'm gonna do anyway. I've always done like that's just knowing me. Like I've done 4 or 5. Knowing myself, I always want like 4 or 5 things going. I would rather spin 4 plates, 5 plates at a time than focus all my energy on one. Now, part of that is because I can separate it out and I can still, devote what I think it needs to each one. But I'm not the type of guy who, just because it's me, not because like it's how people are, but because it's me. Like I'm not the type of guy who's gonna do one thing and then like from the hours of 8 p.m. until 4 a.m. not do anything else. Like
Yeah.
when my whole family's asleep, I still do a lot of stuff.
It's a tourist
Grind.
thing.
I'm not even gonna address it anymore.
Hey, I bet the crowd will agree with me. Just saying.
What did he say? I didn't even hear him.
I was like, it's a
thing.
tourist thing.
Oh,
What are you, by the way?
Gemini.
You can't tell me that every time. All right, so what's a Gemini supposed to be like?
I don't know.
Well,
I know myself.
Look me up.
I am. So the Gemini is the 3rd astrological sign. Blah blah blah. Made up bullshit. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Wow, this is a bunch of crap.
Damn.
What the hell? Represented by twins. What is all this shit?
Man, I missed the beach.
This is ridiculous.
Oh
the
man,
casino.
trust me. You know how many times I booked so many tickets to Turk and Caicos, and then I hear the rules, and I'm like, all right, you know what? All right,
Sophie and I talked about going to Turks and Caicos, actually, like
it's worth it. It's
summertime.
worth it.
It captures someone's most basic levels. It articulates their dual nature, a species with the so-called lower self, as well as the way they are bilaterally symmetrical. The fuck?
You have to Google, like, what is a Gemini?
This is on Wikipedia, dude. I'm looking at
Get off Wikipedia. Look
Wikipedia.
up more general, like, what is a Gemini?
Oh, because Wikipedia is not.
No,
Because Wikipedia writes too much
just
shit.
Generalize.
I need a Wikipedia page. You want to write one for me?
Sure.
I was submitted 2 days ago, I think, by a big company for my verification. So
Gemini
Let's go.
traits: gentle, affectionate, curious,
Not very affectionate.
adaptable, ability to learn quickly and exchange ideas. Okay, that's just like anybody who's
You're
not
so
stupid.
general.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, that's
Weaknesses:
general for them.
nervous, inconsistent, indecisive. I mean, I feel like you're pretty
Little bit.
decisive.
I'm pretty decisive.
You're pretty
I know what I want.
You're pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm-
it's not.
my
telling
whole
the
life
truth.
is consistent. I do the same
You
thing
get
every
a
day.
little nervous. It's more like just introversion and I wouldn't
get
call it nervous.
anxious.
Yeah,
This too,
anxious. Gemini likes music. Oh, okay. Books, magazines,
They're
chats.
not
With,
telling you details.
well, hold
right
on.
now.
Chats with nearly anyone? No.
That's
not
a lie.
me.
Short trips around town? Yeah. Gemini dislikes being alone? Negative.
Damn,
Kinda
that's
like
the
my being alone.
opposite.
Oh,
Being-
yeah, I can be alone.
Being confined, repetition, and he loves repetition and routine. The bullshit.
Oh my God. He just threw his phone into the pool.
Yo,
I think he was gonna bounce that much.
It's on still. It's on.
I'm sorry. Yo.
It's still leaking water.
God
damn.
Let it dry.
Also, this SD card only has 21 minutes left, by the way.
Oh my goodness. Alright, that just happened.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you don't need a new phone. It will dry.
No, the phone will be fine. But now I'm soaked.
We'll finish FLEXCAST like that.
I mean, I'm not sure I want to. I'm gonna just change my shirt, guys. Let's just pause.
We're back.
Welcome back.
Taking your spot.
Okay, so that was unexpected.
The horoscope gods.
So I just changed my clothes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I tossed my phone, and it rolled. I mean, it just started end over end rolling. I tossed it there. It went twice the distance, 5 more feet into the pool.
That's
and I'll overlay the clip that Harry just got of me.
Do you believe in horoscope now?
No, it's all bullshit.
Hey, it just taught you a
it's
little
all
lesson.
bullshit.
You were a lot lighter on that one.
So the phone was at the bottom of the pool, so I had to get it, and I got very wet.
That was so funny. Hey, I don't have to say anything. They spoke for me, because that was clearly.
I think the point I was making was that it's nowhere even remotely specific, nor is it accurate.
Of course not. That's crazy.
Anyway, so I feel like I just had a shower, guys.
His whole head was in.
Everything. It's. I was completely drenched, and half of my leg is wet. But I was like, I'm not.
Did you save it before it hit the ground, or
no? It was down there.
Oh,
it was at the bottom of the pool. I had to
horoscopes.
I know this part is really low, so that's why I was like, all right, you got it.
Yeah, it's 3.5 feet, but that's still 4 feet of me trying to get it.
That's 90% of Haas's body.
I know.
That's why he's all wet. He's 3.5 feet. He's reaching in head first.
Damn.
That Steve's gonna hold that to you till you die. That saying that was the horoscopes.
Yeah.
That was
the Taurus in you saying,
Oh, man.
"Listen to me."
It was very unexpected. The phone just happened to keep going.
It's crazy how it kept bouncing though.
It kept rolling.
I don't know. That was.
Yeah. I mean, it'll dry out. It'll work. It'll be fine.
Eventually.
Whew. I don't even know what we were talking about before. Besides the horoscope.
Yeah.
Let's go off that topic. No.
Bad juju for you.
Yeah. Let's just hope we can relight this thing.
Oh man, that's funny.
Let's not come back. This doesn't get.
Oh man.
Get wet. There it goes.
Any one of you guys going to CO today? I mean tomorrow.
Cool.
Caffeine and octane?
Nope.
Nah.
Yeah.
I might be going to this Tuesday meet that happens in up north. I don't want to say where. It's Tuesday night meet. I used to go to it when I was 16. I had my first car that I was modifying.
Oh, let's
and
go.
it still happens to this day, and it's the same group of people.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Shoot.
Because for you, we're like coming full circle.
Yeah, it is. And a couple, but some guys show up and some Lambos, some GTRs, and go do some pulls. It's probably about 30, 40 cars, and it's more just like reconnecting with some friends. Like literally dudes that I would go and my meet with my Ford Fusion.
Like what
it's
time?
Tuesday night at like 9 p.m.
Oh, so it's like also your timing that it's
8,
not
9
too
p.m.
late.
Yeah.
All right, I'll roll with you.
Yeah, if you want to go, I'm down. Cause
Steve, will your GTR be done?
No, I'm still waiting. 2 to 3 days.
Did you bring the GTR?
I still got to get the tune.
I mean, you can bring the G-Wagon? Hey, take one of mine.
We'll see.
Oh, well, I'm supposed to drop off the Ferrari on Monday.
So you might not have it.
For the exhaust.
Oh, damn.
Well, they're a week behind, so we'll see. I'm gonna text them and see.
I'll let you know how it goes because it could be cold and rainy, but we'll see. But that meets like it's like the same people I've known for 10 years.
But you're not
now.
doing C&O. I'm debating. You're definitely
There's
not.
so many. There's with how the weather was today. There's going to be
nice.
So many people there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might go drive around at like 10. Just go drive and see like when like half the people are gone. Like drive through the parking lot.
I'll just save a spot for you.
No, I'm not gonna pull in though. I don't want to pull in.
Come on.
There's too many fucking people. It's way too many people.
How
Regardless
about
of
if I make a VIP spot?
regardless of COVID, there's too many people.
I get it. I don't like crowds.
Maybe if it was caffeine exotics, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it's caffeine octane. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And
which is good because then we can reveal our cars at the same time. Then.
Yeah. If he can get your car done.
I have faith that by the end of January he'll have it done.
Took him. He started on my car genuinely. It took him probably about 9 to 10 days.
Yeah. So let's just say he doubles that for mine. not the worst.
Haas is getting the deal of a lifetime with how much he's paying.
Well,
I paid $400 extra for the fenders. He ceramic coated
That's
it
not
for
bad.
he ceramic coated it for a good price. I don't know if he wants me to say though.
well, it doesn't matter because I will probably get it done anyway.
The ceramic helped. I washed my car this morning and it beads right off. Especially because wrap.
I'm just excited about. Honestly, I'm most excited about the exhaust. That is what I'm most excited.
Yeah,
about.
that's my favorite thing.
It's so expensive too. It better be fucking amazing.
Yeah, you better
Damn.
shit your pants driving it because you're paying.
It's gonna be extremely loud.
paying
Dude,
an
I
assload.
told our buddy Greg. I told Greg. I said I told him how much the exhaust was going to cost me. He was like, "That's more than my entire car." I was like, "Fuck."
Wait, how much is that exhaust? Now I'm thinking.
Oh, well, I lied. The
43
exhaust plus
grand.
my wheels and tires was
40
more than
43
he paid
grand.
for the M3.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I know. I said 43 grand
In mods?
in the wheels and exhaust, and he's like, "Holy fuck!"
No,
No,
the
it's
wheels
like
and exhaust.
it's
It's
like-
like 20K.
Oh, I was about to say, yo, you got me, Harry. All right.
well, he didn't notice. He agreed.
But with I didn't hear that. But with the wrap and everything else,
You're
See,
probably being 27.
and the parts
30,
I just bought,
30.
That's
Oh,
my
yeah, I didn't
trends
tell
right
you.
there. That's my trends.
I bought the carbon fiber rear diffusers. I bought the carbon fiber trunk lip spoiler.
Oh my god. All right, I'm ready to
I'm trying
see
to
it.
stop.
It's fun.
I bought the owl cam. It's
But
all here in boxes right
the
now.
part,
except
the
for
part that's hard is like
diffuser.
Steve's doing we're doing similar things to Steve, but he's doing it on an engine
Inside.
side, and we're doing it exterior to where like,
That's because our engines work.
well, his engine worked, but he wanted to upgrade. Oh no, he blew it.
No,
It blew. Yeah, it blew.
But like with the exterior parts, like if you do it, it's not you're not pushing it to a point. Except if you lower it, maybe you push it to a point where you break something. But
oh yeah, and
like,
I lowered it. I lowered the Ferrari.
Good luck at
I
the
wanted
gas
to lower it
station.
again, but I was already scraping
Don't be a bitch.
now.
every car that I've owned, I literally put it to the floor, and it looks so that extra.
I agree, it looks great, but the living with it, dude, like
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you shouldn't live here, man.
Oh shoot.
Maybe you should live somewhere better.
way up in the fucking boonies.
We're in
Go
the
fuck
we're
yourself.
in the boonies. But the West Paces Ferry,
You're 30 minutes away from the city.
West Paces Ferry is the shittiest road.
Yeah,
It is
I
the worst.
agree.
It
I
It's
agree.
horrible.
But honestly, it's
you
it's the
broke a
potholes.
wheel.
I did. It's the potholes though. That's not the how low the car is. It's just the potholes. If I avoid the potholes, it's fine. It's actually just driving around, like pulling into any restaurant or any place here.
Front end lift works for me.
It does, but you think if I slammed the front of the Ferrari plus the lift, it'd be fine?
If you angle stuff right, yeah. I can't back into my driveway because it'll scrape the fuck out of it.
I
just have
don't
to
know
pull
how you
it
guys do
forward.
it. I left that in high school. I can't do
That's
that
what I
anymore.
miss is my
I left that.
the driveway at my other townhouse was a lot. It's nice and flat. I could have a nice little room to wash my car. Mine now is like half a
Dude, when I
driveway.
pulled into your driveway with the rolls, it was like boom, and I was like, whoa. Should I use my air suspension on the rolls?
Oh, on the yeah. That I have to go aggressive. I tried to back in and just
No. There's no
because the
way.
car looks better backed into the garage too.
Can you back it in with the lift and the front end
Nope.
lift? Really? It still does?
I'd have to put boards up and then have boards to put it down.
Well, it's temporary. You're not going to buy that place.
No, I'm gonna
Maybe
have
in the area, but not that
I'm gonna
place.
have a land and I'm gonna have a warehouse. I'm gonna build.
We've been talking about this.
No, but I'm
FLEXCAST
saying on my
listeners are
property,
watching-
I'm gonna have like a 6-car
Oh, on your property.
on the property.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
6 to
We're gonna have the
definitely want to
compound.
live for sure now.
But now we're debating about where the compound needs to be.
Yeah.
I say better up where we are, where I'm up now. We can
It'll
get a lot.
be- I can say it'll be 10 times less expensive.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more
And
value.
a lot more. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look, you're not wrong. The value is pretty great.
yeah, I'm
we
over
don't- we
here
have to
renting Lyft,
We don't
so
have to go that far.
won't
though,
have
like
to
where you
anymore.
were. We have to go that
It's not that far. I'm in an area that's still very
30
active.
minutes from the city is far.
Yes, but I don't want to be in the city right now. I don't even want to drive my car in the city. There's no. What is the point of taking a nice car to Lenox? Tell me.
I'm not going to Lenox, but I'm just saying, if I have nice cars, I'm going to drive them.
I'm
And I live in the city.
guy-
and I like being in the city. I like doing things in the city.
I'm not sure what his name is. Whatever the guy with the Bugatti. I don't know who he is, but he took it to Lenox, and I was like, I cannot imagine the attention that brought. Taking a Bugatti to Lenox. I mean, I know a lot of people don't
is
know
it
what
that
it is.
gray Bugatti.
The
JD,
gray, yeah.
Johnny.
But I feel like
Johnny.
if you had those kids trying to sell water bottles running up to a
You mean the
fucking Bugatti.
second guy with the Bugatti here in
The
in
second
area.
guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's two.
Now there's two, and then there were two.
Yeah. Just like
Hoss is
that.
going to be the third.
I am not.
He's
Well,
gonna get a
I mean, I
Chiron.
say that.
A Chiron.
A Chiron. Yeah.
I say that, but
I want.
I don't
Oh,
think so.
did you guys see?
I do love the Chiron, but I don't want to pay. That's not a value to me. That's just crazy.
Hoovie's Garage just bought.
I know. I
Diab-
actually sent him a message because there were other cars there, and I was like, "Are they selling them?" Because the Countach, holy cow,
Beautiful.
plus the Diablo.
I
Oh my god!
personally,
Ugh.
I've said to you guys before, I would buy a Diablo as an older car that you drive like once every 2 months, like one of those that just sits in your, if you have a nice pretty garage.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he got a
Both of them.
Countach and a Diablo for the price of one of them,
basically. Yeah, it's crazy.
and they're in good
That's
condition.
nuts.
And
It's like he bought them for 150K each.
my
Like,
question
it's
is like, my thought process would be maybe the person who owned them passed away,
That's what
and
I'm
they're
like.
probably
You also looked at the
liquidating.
state of that house too.
Yeah, it's like, and didn't the guy in the video say like anything in here will sell?
Yeah, he was. He also said he was a doctor though. He didn't say he was a doctor. He said he is a doctor. So that was odd to me. But maybe he just didn't want to.
But the guy who was walking there through them,
he said he is a
he was-
doctor.
Yeah, but he's the broker. He
I
wasn't
know.
the guy.
That's what I'm saying. The broker said he's a doctor. The
Mm.
guy who owned it, the owner's a doctor. So I was like, is versus was. So and
Yeah.
maybe he just didn't want to say. But either way, I
Incredible
sent
deal.
I sent Tyler a message.
I would have bought.
I sent him a message. I
If
said,
both those surprise one,
I
I would
said,
have bought.
like,
two.
I like, you can look me up. I'm legit. Like, and he could see that. I was like, I'm very interested in buying at the same rates that you were for any of those other cars because I know there was a Ferrari that I could see it.
Mhm.
Um,
Under the
yeah.
it looked like
looked
a
like a
355 or something.
I thought it might. I was like, man, it would be great if he had, but he had two garages. So I was like, maybe he's got a Testarossa. Like I would
Yeah.
I would do that.
I'd love a Testarossa too.
Me too. Man, like if
Give
I
me that
bought one 10
Florida
years ago,
vibe.
I considered it. 10 years ago, I almost bought a Testarossa.
Yeah. Every time I see that car, I'm thinking about Florida. I don't know why.
My top car of like,
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about it before. My top no budget car,
F40.
F40.
Yeah.
Like I saw another one. I didn't see it in person. I was watching a video on it, and I was
What are
just
they going
like,
for right now? 1.7?
no, they were going
I think
about
it's
a
at
year
two.
ago for 1.9,
What?
cheapest at the cheapest.
I think
Wow.
they raise it. Yeah, it's like
And
two
then
and change.
the
now.
guy-
High.
There's a guy in Buckhead who I told the story about how I pulled up to the bar in my GTR and he was freaking out, and I'm freaking out because there's an F40 pristine, literally looked
He
like
didn't give a shit. That guy didn't give a
he's
shit
like, I
about
don't
it.
care about the Ferrari, I care about that GTR, and I'm like, fuck
Holy
this
shit.
GTR, I'll drive it off a cliff right now. That F40 is 100 times better than the GTR.
Some people don't
Yeah.
know.
I agree.
He
But
was younger.
If you don't like the F40, get that, sell it, and
then you can buy so
12 of
many
those.
GTRs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Fucking 20 of them.
Yeah,
Some
that
people don't
F40
know.
is just the way that car is. One caught on fire in Italy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
that
that.
was a
That
while ago.
hurts. That hurts.
But yeah, Hoovie.
But when it's insured, I mean,
I watched Hoovie's car collection too, and he's saying he put it out there for people who didn't know.
did
He
he
was like,
sell the Gallardo?
yeah, he doesn't have a Gallardo.
Oh, I was saying because
He
he
has a
would have had
Mercy.
Gallardo.
No, he has a Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
yeah, yeah.
He would have had Gallardo, Mercy, Diablo, Countach. He needs a
That
better.
whole, yeah.
He doesn't seem like his style.
It's not.
But
no,
he
I agree.
he said he paid for all of his 25 cars with YouTube money, which is like to show people like,
Well, he also does buy like the cheapest versions of them, and he has the wizard to help put those things back together and stuff.
yeah. He's got his house though. If that was in Atlanta, would be $4 million. But I'm sure it's probably like 750K
No,
or something.
If it were in the boonies, like where you guys were, it'd be a reasonable price.
No, but I'm saying if it was here in
You
like
mean in the
Buckhead,
city?
yeah.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
he's in like in.
I mean, it'd be at least
Midwest.
$2 million.
He's in the Midwest. I'm sure that house probably is like 700 or something. I mean, I
was
could be wrong, but
I'm selling one of my houses, the townhouse, but I was considering like if I sold this house, what like we were talking about this yesterday, like for 3.5, I'd be like, yeah, I'd sell it. I'd sell it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'd have to buy another house, and then I'd have to like, well, it needs this, needs that. and,
come
like,
up to my land.
I'd literally have to like move somewhere else
yeah.
because I looked for 2 years before I found a place suitable, right, to do all the stuff I wanted to do. But if
Yeah.
I had it built, I'd have to double my budget to buy like a nicer version of what I have now. I have to spend
Yeah.
$6 million. Yeah, it's. I mean, look, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that
Or we can go get some land and move next door to each other.
that's worth at least a few million for me. It really is.
We'd have to map it out for Sophie, the distance between the two properties. Like, we'll be next to each other, but how many acres we have between, so that
I
Hoss
think she'd be
can't.
comfortable with at least like 3 to 5 in between.
3 to 5 acres.
Yes.
And then Haas comes wandering over in the middle of the night. He takes it, drives his
No,
razor over.
I'm gonna have like a tunnel.
No, there's gonna be a tunnel to our shop. Our,
let's say
our
that we should
hangout
have a
space.
third place
Yeah,
that's an in between. That no matter what, we can always go to.
I'm not at Haas's
Yeah, yeah.
house. I'm at
But
the
I would
cave.
go and I'll not disturb you. You can go there and not. Well, you'd never disturb me.
Haas would be in there waiting for me.
I just
Yeah,
wait for
for real.
You'd hear a little
It's
noise, like
yeah.
a door in the tunnel.
It's
He'd have like
Harry.
on the tunnel, checking the cameras. Like, oh, Harrison's coming. All right, I'm gonna get a drink ready. I'm gonna get the food ready.
I would do it. You know. Yeah, you're one of my best friends, but I'd also do it with like 10 other people.
Yeah,
But they also wouldn't do it.
yeah.
They wouldn't live. Would you live there, Steve? Would you live in the compound?
I don't know. I gotta see it first.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
See, if there was a shop for us to work on our cars,
Oh, that's
In a
different.
nice house
That's
with
different.
plenty of land.
That's different.
the houses are separated, and you have that. See, the thing is, you need to have that building separated from the house.
Guaranteed, each person has an acre of their own. At least an acre. Guaranteed.
different.
That's
different.
guaranteed.
Can we have horses and stuff? Like-
Well, the point is,
Horses? Who? You want
you have
horses?
700 in a car. Why would you need a horse, an actual horse?
That's the last thing I would expect Steve to ask for, like
If-
one of
if-
his requirements.
look, if-
Can I have a horse?
If your requirement is horse and your requirement is shop, then look, guys, we can make this happen. I'm
Hey.
just saying. But yeah, I mean, if we're gonna buy like a compound, we'd want to get like before we were talking about like 10 acres, and that would be comfortable easily.
yeah.
What?
I would love pitching this to Sophie, like legitimately, like, okay.
So here's the
So
deal.
if yeah,
Here's how much it's gonna cost. Here's how far we'll be.
So we got 10 acres for $2 million. We
We'd have
have,
to be a little farther out.
we're going to be spending $1 million on the house,
mm-hmm.
500,000 on the shop, and Haas would be 2 acres away. You won't hear him.
Maybe we
Well,
just use
see-
distance, not acres. We just be like, how many feet? Because that'd be like inches.
14,324 feet.
Yeah.
One
might
acre
work
doesn't
better.
sound that far,
It doesn't.
Harry.
It doesn't. You have to use the units, guys. You got to use the units.
So he's 43,000 steps away.
I think that's
pretty
reasonable.
far. That's pretty far.
Yeah.
I couldn't go for a walk and just
Maybe
stumble into you.
we need golf carts in the tunnel. Like just
That's what I'm saying. You'd have like a razor or something.
fuck the tunnel. That's expensive. We just have golf carts for the property anyway. But to get to the
That's how I move around the neighborhood. We have golf carts.
I guess it would technically be a neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
My grandparents growing up had a lodge that we like to call it. It was all built out of wood. But it was like up to modern standards. It wasn't like a cabin with no power or whatever. And they sold it off once my grandfather passed away. And now I've claimed and said to the family, I'm going to be the one. Sophie and I are going to be the ones that have the lodge that for like, because we did family reunions every year. And so I want to make sure that the family has that space. Because that was like,
I'm the same way in my
To
family.
me-
I'm going to be the one to
Yeah.
make that space.
because when I was growing up,
All
that,
the
I
cousins
wanted to
and
be there.
uncles and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too.
That made all the memories. And so I was like,
I
I'm gonna-
love that too. I had the exact same experience. Maybe that's why you're so open to the compound
Yeah.
concept.
Well, I
Steve's
tried.
like, nah.
It was probably like 4 years ago when they 3 or 4 years ago when they sold it. I was not financially in the spot to where like I would want to seriously consider it.
Mhm.
But like if it were now, I would highly pitch it to the family to buy it. Like
No, I'm gonna tell you right now. You need to buy it yourself.
no, I know, but like that I would want to buy it. Maybe go in with like my dad and buy it or something. Like
That's okay.
like
You
it's
just don't want too many.
yeah, no, not
cooks
saying
in the
like
kitchen
pitch it to
there.
them to like to pay for it.
Mhm.
Like I would want to be the one in control, but like that specific property instead of them, sorting the assets and selling it.
Well, you do it, and so that it's good enough for you by yourself. And it's an added benefit if they're gonna do it too.
But this was also in Maryland, and I'm glad I didn't because I want to do that probably here. Is
Yeah.
where we'll end up being. Never know. Sophie wanted to move to Canada for a couple months. That was her thing, but then she realized that it gets dark at like 3 p.m. and realizes that it snows, and then she
I
was
mean,
like,
depends
"No, I
on
don't
where
do
you
that."
are.
yeah. Well, I mean, I believe, but I'll be here. But I don't know. I was just chatting with a friend about a. This sounds like the last thing I would do, but a Google role. And
You can
You know.
go get me Google. I remember Google Preferred. You can put Steve in Google Preferred. Get him that 25 CPM.
Word.
but if I, that might require me to leave at some point. But with the state of the world right now, I think we're safe for at least another year, regardless of what happens. Whatever role I take, I'm still going to be here.
Haas has got to make money someday.
Someday,
Some point.
right?
I mean, at this rate, like I don't really have to if I sold stuff and lived normally.
He's selling a house every 6 months, every 9 months, selling different properties.
True. It's true. But also, I haven't. If anything, I've kicked up spending more than I had the last couple of years than stopping it, or even lowering it. So, and I'm totally. The funny thing is, I'm totally comfortable with this. Like, I would sell everything in a second and not worry a bit. I wouldn't be phased.
Taurus.
All you need is your Ferrari
Taurus.
and an apartment.
You're at that
No,
house?
No, you don't need a Ferrari.
I think if anything, I think I keep the Wraith.
Did you hear that, house? Taurus is a Taurus thing. I could sell everything right now and not care about it.
I could do the same though. So, but I'm a Gemini.
And we've just went over. He's a Gemini. But see, less to do with the astrological sign and more to do with the fact that we are who we are. Stuff doesn't make us. The clout or stuff or cars or it's not who we are.
Steve walks around saying, I got 3 million subscribers. What about you?
So, hey, by the way, you're real close now.
I haven't been pushing that. If I push it will.
I know.
Let's check his count.
You know what you need to do is you need to push some merch, though.
Everybody go buy Steve's merch.
Go buy Steve's merch is pretty dope, but you should also go buy it. Also, we need to
2.95 million.
9.5. Yeah, I know. I wanted to push it to start new year.
You're
but
coming
I was
up on a billion channel views too.
A billion.
Wow.
65 million away. That's a big milestone.
damn
I know.
billion.
I'm at like 2.
A billion, yeah. I'm actually deleting some videos which were flagged.
I'm only at
that's why I'm
172 million.
Now I see why YouTube is not, the headaches.
I only have 172 million.
I wasn't gonna do that.
No, why you didn't tell me? Because I'm like,
I'm not gonna delete your fucking videos.
man, I was looking at some old videos.
Because
I'm
you
like,
told me, you were like, I don't care, it's fine. And I was like, all right,
oh.
well, okay.
there were so many flags. I was like, that's
But
why
you
YouTube don't have me as preferred.
You could also revise some of your thumbnails and titles.
Yeah, not for sure.
He's got one of his most popular videos in like the last 6 months is someone with a gun to a woman who's barely clad in anything with her hands behind her back and her on her knees. I'm like,
I know.
Maybe-
But that's probably why it got views.
Yes, it's as crazy as it sounds. That's what
know,
people
I
want to
know.
see.
But it's also
crazy.
like, is that where you're gonna be though in a year from now? Like, is that where you?
No.
No.
Oh, trust me, I need to do a cleanup. I started like yesterday since I was.
Yeah, but that's hard
recording.
with GTA because GTA inherently is a game full of.
There you go.
But that's
Violence.
also part of where Steve may not be all GTA stuff in the future.
Are you saying something?
I
I've been
mean,
saying
no,
this
we're
for a while,
moving
but-
away. We're moving
But
away. We're moving away.
But it's still Steve's still gonna be GTA, regardless.
You
But
already know.
like right now, he's got 14 videos a week that's GTA content, or he was, and then now you're at what, like 12 videos a week now. It's
Slowing
GTA.
down.
One
yes.
video a week for me.
We're trying to get to the point where he's 6 videos a week. Gradually. He doesn't want to be like, what was that dude? I can't remember his name. He had 3 names. Something. No, he was a big YouTuber, 10 mil subs, and like one day he was just like, I'm out. And he had a video. He's like explaining, I'm out, and like, it's like OnePlus. That was his production thing. OnePlus, and I forget his name. Something Jefferson. Something Jackson.
Wait, let me take that.
Equals 3.
Yeah, something like that.
Ray William Johnson.
That's it. See, how did you not get that from what I just said?
Because I thought you were talking about
Something
gaming.
Johnson. Something
I thought you
Jackson.
were talking about gaming.
No, something YouTube.
Yeah.
So we don't, Steve doesn't want to be like that where he just like is like, all right, I'm changing, and then the next day it's different. So a gradual shift, and plus he's also not going to stop. Like he's just going to still do GTA stuff. That's what we've been
GTA
talking
6
about.
comes out.
But even before then, like he's still gonna, like he's not gonna forget where he came from and where his audience, what a lot of his audience loves. But the fact that he's got 90% of his audience right now that doesn't watch every video, that tells you something.
Man, temperature dropped about 10 degrees.
Getting a little chill. Well, I mean, I was just in the pool, so I'm a little colder too.
It is getting colder.
All right, I think we're. Oh yeah, we are. We're almost there.
Hour and 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's the total for there, but we're not all the way there. So yeah, parting words, thoughts. We have some time.
2020 is gonna be the greatest year ever.
You mean 2021?
2021. Yeah.
Did you see that devil dating thing with? It was the devil in 2020 dating. Ryan Reynolds directed it. It's like this ad
No.
for Match.com, but it's like it's the devil and 2020 started dating, and they're like are having fun destructing the world. It's
it felt like 2020 was like that.
you have to see it.
It was like it slowed down for a good minute, and it was just when you didn't expect like the worst thing to happen.
End of the year sped up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course.
You know, look, I think I said this before. Like, it sucks that people died from COVID and, you know, all that stuff. However, like, I think of 2020 as an opportunity. Like, it's been an opportunity for everyone, for me, for everybody. I think there's a lot of positive things. So, just like every year, that's just my outlook. But I mean, there's no like, I mean, everyone's like, fuck 2020, goodbye, good riddance. Like, it's up to you how you see. I mean, shit that you can't control. We can't control COVID.
No, we can't.
You control yourself. Exactly, and what you do. And so that's a choice. That's a choice. And I think, like, and I think there's a lot of people, Iraq out there being one of them. Like, 2020, fuck yeah. Yes, it's been difficult. Yeah. Yes, have things not gone according to plan, but you can. It's what you make of it. It's your choice.
Oh yeah, we have to
crazy.
give a congrats to Iraq to hitting 1 million subscribers, because we've talked about him many times. In 1 year's time,
for real.
Congratulations.
he hit.
It's pretty awesome.
1 million subscribers, and that is
pretty awesome.
I mean,
we were chatting with him today, hoping he might get a chance to come by the pod, but maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah, he'll come on. He's definitely down, and he still looks at himself as an ant in the game. Like
well, technically, it's true.
It is.
Of the 6,000 people we were just saying who hit 1 million this year.
Yeah, 6,000 people hit 1 million
and
subscribers.
fucking 250 of them hit 10 million. Jeez.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's good perspective. But he's gonna still go hard though, which I respect. I like that.
One thing that I like the most about 2020, I have friends that I was pushing to like, yo, stop working for this company, do your own thing. They never did anything until this year.
Well, but you can even say that there's a lot of people who still didn't do it this year either.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of positives to take from it, and it's a perspective and it's your choice. So yes, were there things that happened that 2020 that sucked? Yes.
Yeah.
But in the end, like, you choose your own life.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people that's willing to take the risk now because they realize it's overnight. It could change.
Yeah. So why waste your time?
Yeah.
And to me, that's just perspective. Like I said this when Kobe died. Like, yes, did it suck for a lot of people who revered him? Absolutely. I mean, I didn't really follow basketball. I didn't care that much. Dying is terrible. But that should just be perspective. That you should be grateful for the time that you have. No amount of money is going to shape your life or happiness, like if you can live or not, you know, if your health isn't there. So I think that it's just more perspective for everybody. And I feel like more people gain perspective in 2020. I hope. That is my hope.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, I mean, before 2020, I didn't really know Harry.
it is true.
So
We met in February,
yeah.
right before
That's
COVID.
crazy. It felt like more than that.
Well, we've seen each other like every week.
Yeah, when COVID,
Multiple times a week.
we were like the only people. We'd come to the pool.
Yeah. I saw
Gotcha.
Harry. You know, there was a great time where I saw Harry every day. And then
There
now
was.
he lives in the boonies.
He lived exact. I remember we used to see each other all the time, and then
And then you were.
I know. Hey, everyone's leaving me.
Hey,
You gotta move.
read
You gotta
the
move
the
over
writing
that
on the
to us,
wall,
man.
Hoss.
You tried to tell me I should put my house for sale?
Hey, if
Nah,
you
you
get
might have another
if you-
spot
if
on
you
that
get-
side.
if you get $3 million plus offer, we could find you something nice for $3
Let's just
million.
give him. Let's
But
just
no,
give
I
him
said
a room.
3.5. 3.5 I'd take. 3 is.
Yeah, and take
A
that
wash.
3.5 and put it into something up north. You're gonna get exactly what you're looking for as value, but you're not gonna get that here. You're gonna get exactly the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's a shift in value. You're just saying property value. But
But I'm saying,
value in life, in like, can I go somewhere at fucking 1 a.m. and hang out with people? No.
yeah,
Yes, you can.
What?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, they still have.
It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
I was about to say.
Are the best restaurants? Are all the events? Is everything happening there? No.
Avalon.
Avalon's still open.
I have
yeah?
to say, Avalon's pretty dope.
It's,
Yeah,
for what
so
it
it's
is,
right
it
there.
is-
But the people there is what really bothers me more.
It's like what,
The
10 minutes
Karens.
from me? Yeah.
It is 95% chock full of Karens. I mean, you can't deny that.
It is, and now I have a bright blue Lambo I'm gonna drive through Avalon with. Just kidding. I don't even go to Avalon really,
You
because I don't go to restaurants.
I've been there twice this last year, and I was like, all right, this is pretty. It was, like,
I
this is
went.
really built
I
up.
used to go a lot, like 2 years ago. My parents, they moved from up north to like Dunwoody area, and then they started going because Avalon just got built. So then they would
D Woody.
they would go up there and go every weekend. Be like, let's go get dinner at Coletta, and we'd go there, and like Coletta's a really good restaurant.
Never heard of it.
There's a couple. They have a Roomies there. You could go hang out at Roomies till 1 a.m.
Yeah, I want to hang out at roomies. First of all, they probably close at 10:30.
No, Avalon stays open late.
Till what
I'm
time?
pretty sure. I don't know. Let's look it up.
Oh,
You got to like
It's different
1
hours with
at
COVID.
least. Yeah, it
but-
depends. I mean, you got the movie theater. You got most places that open till like 12:30, 1 o'clock at least.
Look, if
That
my
cafe.
if my friends
is always
also
open?
would go there, I'd have no problem.
Roomies close at 11, but this might be COVID hours. So it might be different.
Yeah.
Y'all aren't going to Avalon at 11. You're asleep by 10:30 anyway.
No, we've been going to bed like 11:20, but we're in bed by like 10:30.
I don't remember the last time I went
exactly.
to bed.
But now
that
I have to
early.
like plan out my freaking eating, and I can't eat 3 hours
I
before I
was
go to
pissed
bed.
because I was texting Steve. I was saying this the other podcast. I was like, I was texting Steve at like, I don't know, was it 1:30? I was like, what the fuck is he not responding? He's not asleep.
I was.
He was live, and I was like, oh, my bad. He was live streaming.
Oh man.
Which brings me back to the thing that we were talking about earlier with people like Blake finding his lane. Like, I need to find that. And I'm not like upset about it. I'm like, I'm not like, oh, I need to find it, hurry up. I'm just like, I can't wait till I find a niche.
You will. I mean, once you find it, it's gonna be like, oh shit, okay. Every time I do that,
You can
I
buckle
do it
down.
different. Yeah.
I'm
That's
ready. But then I got these random things coming through, like the Google roll I was just talking about, which
whatever bites.
I mean, seems pretty cool. Like in line with like what I would do.
Whatever bites. We'll come visit you in California.
Well, no, they have an office here in Atlanta in Midtown.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not big. And
Go
then
live in your Midtown house.
well, most of their strategic roles aren't based here. Obviously based in Sunnyvale, but which I'm selling in a few weeks, 2 weeks.
I
Within 2
wanted
weeks.
that. I wanted that place, but I was
I
like,
know.
nah, I
But
can't do the city.
I don't think you can.
I can't.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
It'd be a good value, but
I know. Mm-mm. Even though I just spent so much on this freaking GTR again, but yeah.
well, you'd have a garage where you put your GTR and never use it, and then a parking space too.
I know. I'm thinking about a third car now. I don't know what though.
you need to stop putting money in the GTR first.
Yeah. No, this is it. I'm done. That's why I was like, I want to do the work myself. I see it. In case anything is wrong with it now, I know exactly what to do. Except like instead of going to a shop or trusting anybody ever again. But other than that, I just need
I will trust no one ever again, ever in my life.
Not with my car. Not with my car.
Oh my goodness.
Not with my
That's
car.
rough, man. Well, we're coming up on time. Thanks for joining us, guys. For Harry, Steve, and Haas, appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Later.